All right. Welcome to the inaugural podcast of Yukon Gold, creating a sustainable energy future. We are all about creating a sustainable future for everyone on planet Earth. We help people to reach their full potential by delivering the gold standard in green energy, design, and education. This is your host, William Summer. Now, it's been a while since I've done a podcast, but I thought I'd start my own just to give you a bit of my background for those joining us and for those just tuning in, listening, subscribing. I am a Red Seal electrician by trade. I've been working in this industry for close to 7 years now. I am self-taught in sales and marketing. And I also run another channel, YouTube channel, and podcast called the Doomer Bloomer Podcast. As you may have heard of me there, I go by Bill ETE. It's 2020. Want to just clear the air with a little bit of background and information. We're now in the new U.S. administration under Joe Biden. President Trump is behind us, and the future is in renewable and clean, sustainable energy. The cost to produce and distribute compared to fossil fuels has gone way down. Not saying that there won't ever be a need for fossil fuels, but when it comes to producing and contributing to a green economy and reducing carbon emissions, solar, wind, hydro, geothermal are all part of the energy portfolio. Even oil and gas companies are adopting this. Shell, British Petroleum, to name a couple. The biggest worldwide, at least in wind energy, is GE Renewable Energy. They also have solar divisions, digital grid division. This is the Yukon Gold podcast. I am a renewable energy expert. I will be able to answer your questions, take calls. I'll be trying to get guests onto my show from different industries, whether that be wind, solar, hydro, different levels of government, different industries. The format will be fairly informal with interviews, but at the same time, a relaxed atmosphere. Again, we are the gold standard in delivering green energy design and education solutions. This podcast will be part of a greater initiative to promote Yukon Gold partnership with my business partner, Terrence Sabrin of Sabo Electric Limited. Today on the podcast, what I wanted to talk about was the Canadian Infrastructure Bank, or the CIB, and their goal, the Canadian government, is to invest $35 billion to increase infrastructure investment in Canada. The CIB will focus on priority investment sectors, including transit, green, clean power, broadband, trade, and transportation. For the next 3 years, $10 billion. The 3-year growth plan will strengthen Canada's economic growth and accelerate Canada's transition to the low carbon economy as per the Paris Climate Accords. So we have public transit growth plan, $1.5 billion for zero emission buses, long-term sector. Target $5 billion for ZEBs, LRTs, so BRTs, subways, transit-oriented development, commuter, interregional, and passenger rail. They are developing a project from Calgary to Banff right now, which will be very interesting to see. And we will have partnerships with provinces, territories, municipalities, Indigenous communities, and private sector. So the next sector is clean power. Their growth plan is $2.5 billion. Long-term sector target is $5 billion for clean power, renewables, district energy storage, interties, and transmission. What I am most interested to see probably won't happen until the next 10 years or so, but I would like to see an interconnect between the Yukon power grid and the British Columbia power grid, because right now the Yukon is an islanded grid, and therefore the power they produce can only be used within the territory of the Yukon. So if they don't need the power, then it has nowhere for the excess to go. If they connected near Bob Quinn Lake with a brand new transmission line, they would be able to access the rest of the North American grid and be able to expand their growing mining economy and other regions of the territory that are relying on diesel fuel, and natural gas for energy. So that's just one of my thoughts. Anyone who would like to talk more about that, please reach out to me at my socials at BillETE on Instagram or Bill_Summer on Twitter. I will be having a website up shortly, Yukon Gold Energy. That's in the pipeline, and this blog and podcast will be integrated into it. The next sector that the Canadian Bank of Infrastructure is looking at is green infrastructure. So they're going to be earmarking $2 billion for energy efficient building retrofits. So we're talking LEED certified buildings. So these are the greenest, most efficient buildings you can build right now, and upgrading. So they're going to be earmarking another $5 billion for energy efficient building retrofits, water, wastewater, and other green infrastructure. And again, that's across Canada. Again, the next sector they're looking at is increasing broadband. So that's wireless internet. Their growth plan, again, is $2 billion for large-scale broadband projects. I'm going to put a link in the description for something I think is very cool that just got preliminary approval from the CRTC, the Canadian Transmission Corporation, and that's Starlink. And that is a project from Elon Musk from SpaceX, and they're going to be putting low Earth orbit satellites in Canadian geosynchronous orbit. So you will be able to get internet wirelessly anywhere and not have to pay absorbent fees that TELUS, Rogers, Bell, all these large telecommunication companies are charging you. So Starlink is going to be a very large disruptor. I'm going to put a link in the description. And if you want to sign up, you just have to put your email address and your residential area. And as soon as Starlink is available, they will send you a reminder email. So if you're into getting super fast internet at low cost, I'd use my link. The next area is trade and transport, and their growth plan is 1.5 billion for agriculture related infrastructure. So their long-term sector target is 5 billion for agriculture related infrastructure, ports, freight, highways, roads, bridges, and tunnels. So right now there are 11 participating projects. Just looking on them briefly, we have Lulu Island Energy Company in British Columbia, and the Alberta Banff Rail Project as well. Alberta Agricultural Irrigation. I can't really pronounce that very well, but it's Kivalquick Hydrofiber Link in Nunavut territory. There's a GO Rail expansion in Ontario. The Oneida Storage Project going on as well. Via Rail has a project. And there's also Russo Express Metropolitain, and that is in Quebec. Le Port Montréal, the Port of Montreal, also has a project, and there is a private harbor wind farm going into Nova Scotia. So these are the 11 earmarked projects. Again, I'll put these in the links in the description of the podcast. Anyone interested in checking these out, feel free. Since I'm from British Columbia, I'm going to look at the Lulu Island District Energy Project. So its partner is the City of Richmond and the Lulu Island Energy Company. It'll be based in the City of Richmond, and they've just came to a memorandum of understanding. So Lulu Island Energy is a municipal corporation wholly owned by the City of Richmond and established to implement and operate district energy utility systems in the City of Richmond, British Columbia. And they are expanding the city's current district energy system from 3.6 million square feet to 50 million square feet over time, conditional by approval of Richmond City Council. The official plan calls for higher density and mixed-use buildings in future residential and commercial development. As a result, the city will benefit from low-carbon energy sources on an expedited basis and will provide heating and cooling to buildings in the region. The Lulu Island Energy District's energy will use zero carbon sewer heat recovery technology to extract heat from the local sewer force main once the system is fully built. Allows for the build-out of the district energy system on a more expedited basis using renewable, low-carbon energy sources and flexible terms to be able to accommodate long-term capital drawdown and long-term duration of the project. Lower financing rates will help contribute to both the financial and environmental sustainability of the district system. So that's pretty cool. The other one that piqued my curiosity was the Calgary Banff Trail or Rail. And then, so that's going to be from the Calgary International Airport to the town of Banff, Alberta. Transit. Memorandum of Understanding. The project involves a new passenger railway service between Calgary International Airport and the town of Banff. The 130-kilometer sustainable passenger rail will provide a modern and sustainable travel option from the airport to one of Canada's most popular tourist destinations. The focus is to stimulate tourism and increase mobility options for Albertans and visitors. The project would also reduce vehicle greenhouse gas emissions and congestion in the Calgary to Banff National Park corridor. It has been almost 30 years since the province of Alberta has had regular rail service between its largest city and Canada's most visited national park. The residents of the First Nations communities will see the increased employment opportunities with easier access into Calgary and points in between. Benefit of the Canada Infrastructure Bank involvement is advising the government of Alberta's Ministry of Transportation, which includes the development of business case and financing options to attract private capital and ensure appropriate risk transfer. Again, very cool project. Those of you living in Calgary. So I've just hit the 15-minute mark. I don't want to go longer than 20 minutes. But again, this has been the inaugural podcast for Yukon Gold Partnership and Yukon Gold Energy. I've been your host, William Summer. I'm going to be putting links in the descriptions. And if you want to create your own podcast, I highly recommend Anchor. It's a great platform, integrates with most social networks, and gets brand recognition fairly quickly. And if you want to reach out to me at my socials, and once my company website is up, you can reach me at Bill_ETE on Instagram, Bill_Summer on Twitter. The Yukon Gold podcast will be on iTunes, Spotify, Google, where all podcast platforms originate. Again, Yukon Gold is about creating a sustainable future for everyone on planet Earth. We help people to reach their full potential by delivering the gold standard in green energy, design, and education. Please subscribe to my podcast. I'll be posting it on YouTube as well once things get going. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your interest. Those of us who are, sitting at home with COVID-19 going on in the background, hope is coming around the corner. Vaccines are coming. Things will be back to normal, hopefully by next year. But in the meantime, stay positive. Keep your stick on the ice. And as always, let's just love each other and be positive. All right. This has been your host, William Summer. I am signing off. Cheers.